Rogers TV.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Out of the Fog. I'm your host, Laura Beltonba, and on today's episode, we're bringing you all things summer festival. I get the chance to sit and talk to Eddie St. Kerr, who is co-chair external for St. John's Pride. I also get to talk to Julie Vogt, who is part of the NL Folk Arts. She is the president. So sit back, relax, and we'll get into some festival conversations. Welcome back, everyone. I'm now joined by Eddie St. Kerr, who is the co-chair external for St. John's Pride. Eddie, thank you for joining me.
Thanks so much for having me.
I'm so excited to have you here.
Me too.
So spring has sprung, which
Allegedly,
but it means that we're prepping for summer.
Yes.
Which means we're prepping for Pride.
And we are full steam ahead in that.
Okay.
It's like, I think we're at this stage, we're at like 9 weeks from the start of the festival. Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to come into myself for a minute because I'm super excited about this year's Pride. But for folks who, let's say, are new to the province, they don't know when St. John's Pride is, when is it going on this year, and what exactly is the organization?
So the festival this year is going to run from July 9th to the 20th. So it starts with our kickoff events, and then there's every day leading up to the last days. We have programming events with different partner organizations that are doing different events that cater to different sectors of the community. And then it all leads up to the final Pride Parade that starts downtown at City Hall, makes its way all through downtown, and then we end at Pride in the Park with our we end at Bannerman Park with our Pride in the Park event. And the last couple of years we've had, it's really, really hard to do a head count. It was something we're trying to figure out, but anywhere between 3,000 and 5,000 people show up on that day for that event, and it's super cool.
As someone who has walked in the parade, I think 4 times now.
Yeah.
No, more than that. It's been a few years. Every time it ends up at Pride in the Park, it's been a larger crowd each year, and it's so fantastic to be to see all of that and to see on the flags and the amazing outfits people have, and then the kids and the music, and it's a time.
It's really neat. Like, I say this all the time because it's a big festival. It's 12 days of events. You know, it's a very expensive festival to pull off, and we try and deliver a bunch of events at very low cost or no cost wherever we can. And we're really thankful to a bunch of community partners that help us pull it together. But one thing that I learned when I joined the organization 3 years ago is that it's really impressive how much the community puts off the festival. Like, we do a set of signature events that we take responsibility of, and we put them off. But really, over the last couple of years, through partnerships and those kinds of things, is really how the festival's grown and how we've seen a lot of success with it. And the thing that always amazes me, especially on parade day, is how self-organizing 3,000 or 5,000 people are that morning when you just give them their little zone block that they have to go to, and you email them a little map. And I'm always stood there on the staging grounds right in front of City Hall, and I get there super early because we have to do a bunch of setup. And you're just walking around these empty streets being like, oh, I really hope that people come people come to it because it's so empty.
Yeah.
And then within 45 minutes, you just have these throngs of people that show up, and they're all excited, and they're getting into their little places, and then we set everything up, and we do 2 minutes of silence at the start, one for victims that we lost during the AIDS pandemic, and then the second one is for trans and non-binary people that we've lost over the years. So we do 2 minutes of silence, and then we start this procession. And I think the last couple of years, it takes about 90 minutes to go from start to finish, which is one of the largest parade events that happens in the city. And it's always just so cool to see that many people packed into the park, because years ago it wasn't like that. And it's really changed over the last couple of years. And I think the organization, and I've got a tremendous board of volunteers that put so much work into this. And I think collectively through all of our efforts, we've really done a good job of reaching out to different facets of the community and repairing some hurt from past years as the organization was evolving. And we're really seeing a lot more people in the community lean in to come and take advantage of those safe spaces that we create for people. And it gives people the opportunity to find their community, which is really what one of the big goals of the festival is.
Okay. So I have a question for you.
Cool.
Because June is typically known as Pride Month internationally and nationally. Yeah. How come we got July?
So it's actually, June actually isn't Pride Month around the world.
Okay.
And my theory, so the reason why June stands out is because it commemorates the Stonewall Uprising that happened in 1969 in Manhattan. And it's a really important event, and that's why American festivals tend to fall around that time.
Okay.
And I think there's a part of me that thinks that the push to like pick a month was really a commercial thing.
Okay.
Like companies can plan for it, they can figure out what they're doing. And there's been some spillover, different parts of Canada. I think Toronto does June. But I mean, Ottawa's in August, we're in July, Calgary's in September.
Okay.
Like depending on what season your region's in and those kinds of things, it changes and it kind of fits what the community is. I think, what's the other community? Sackville in New Brunswick does theirs in September because they're a university town.
Okay.
So when all the students come back, instead of doing a homecoming, they do their Pride celebrations.
Okay.
So it's really community specific, and for ours, we centered on July. I think it shifted to July a couple of years ago just to give the committee more time. But then the more that we dug into different historical events, since the 70s, the community's been having beach fires on a Tuesday in July. And we really wanted to make sure that we kept that history piece to it, and the weather is better for us in July. So for all of those reasons, that's why we shifted to July, and we've kind of locked that in stone. And now we're working with different organizations in Atlantic Canada to try and stagger our festival dates so that if people want to get around, they can. Like Halifax is always in July, and we kind of overlap.
Okay.
I think we overlap one weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I was curious. The northern me wanted to know the history.
Yeah. And years ago, I used to always think the same thing. It was like, oh, well, June is Pride Month. And then actually we've had queer historians that had heard me do different radio interviews who kind of reached out and said, actually,
okay.
so we can talk about this. So I'm glad you asked, because it is something now that I like, when it comes up, I'm like, actually, I have a more informed answer to this based not just what I thought it was.
All right.
Yeah.
So is there a theme for St. John's Pride this
Yes.
year? Okay, drum roll.
This year's theme is no going back.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I know why that's the theme, but I would let you tell us, why was this year the reason for that one?
Well, we actually struggled a lot this year with finding a theme, and we've got a really talented group of marketing and communications people that volunteer their time for the festival, so they're usually pretty quick when we give them something. But what happened was there's been so much turmoil shifting back and forth when it comes to what's happening south of the border, and then also things that are happening around the world, that we actually really struggled to get to that, because we were trying to ask ourselves, what does the community need to hear from us? What do they need to hear from their Pride organization? And how are we going to do that rally call to keep pulling members of the community together? And we landed on no going back because at the time when we did the release, there was a bunch of pressure that was being put and a bunch of hate that was rising against members of the trans community and the non-binary community. And it was really that point of like, this isn't up for discussion. We're not revisiting the thought. We're not revisiting the concept, the idea. The courts can rule how they want to rule, but for our community, there is no going back. We're going to continue to push and advance together, and it was really an effort to make sure that people who we spoke to in the community, especially trans members of the community, that told us that they're really scared. They're not in a good place. A lot of them are really concerned, and we wanted to give them that opportunity to show them that for those people that are really in that dark place and are really struggling, our community's behind them. And we're not going to stand up for this regression as we go through. And Pride, as an organization here in St. John's, we try and model ourselves in the 3 Ps. So Pride is first and foremost a protest movement. That's how it started, and that's how we continue to advance and secure rights. It's also the protection that comes from the community just rallying together and having those strength in numbers. And then third, it is a party and a celebration of where we came from and what we've been able to overcome as a community. And we've really tried over the last couple of years to balance what we're doing in those 3 pillars.
Okay, I see. I really love that, especially explaining like the three main pillars
Yeah.
of what St. John's Pride stands for, because I don't think a lot of people get to hear or know about that. Like they think Pride, they think the parade, they think the party,
Yeah.
but I really like the protection aspect of it, and then the protest, reminding people of
Absolutely.
like how Pride came to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I got you for a few more minutes. There's some key things I need to cover in those few minutes. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Who is the Grand Marshal this year?
This year's Grand Marshal is Trans Support NL.
Okay.
And they're invited guests. So we just had meetings with them this week about what that might look like and how we can help them kind of gather people together. But again, it was putting that facet of the community at the front of the parade to make sure that all of our effort was focused on giving them visibility, supporting that community, and so that other members of that intersection can see that the trans members and non-binary members, there's more in the community than they think, and to kind of break down that sense that people might feel alone.
And I'm going to ask for those who might not know, what's a Grand Marshal?
So the Grand Marshal program St. John's Pride's done for the past couple of years is really just to create that focal discussion point for the parade itself. And different cities do it differently. Halifax has an ambassador program, but they will lead the parade as well as their delegates and their contingents, and the entire community will march behind them as we go through the city streets.
Okay. So the last questions. When again is the entire Pride season for, so people can mark their calendars now so they don't forget?
9th of July, ends on the 20th of July.
Okay. Ends with the parade, that ends with Pride in the Park.
Yep.
At Bannerman.
At Bannerman Park.
Okay.
Downtown.
And where can we find out more information about what's going on? Because I know each day has something going on.
Yep.
Okay.
So you can go to stjpride.ca, and that's where you can register for the parade. That's where you can get our sponsorship package if you're looking to support the parade that way. It'll also be where we have our calendar events once that launches in the next couple of days. And also follow our socials. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, and we also have a newsletter that you can sign up for.
Ooh, okay. And if people are looking to be involved, let's say volunteer, because I know this is a large collective effort.
Huge.
Are you still taking volunteers, and how can people sign up for volunteers?
We are taking volunteers, so people can, same thing, you can go to our social media pages and we have call outs specifically. One thing that we're trying to tap into specifically this year is we're trying to find Black, Indigenous, people of color volunteers, because we've partnered with different facets of the community to create closed spaces for those identities. So we are actually looking for volunteers that fit those identities so that we can make sure that we really create that closed space for people.
Awesome. Before I let you go, finally, if there's one thing you want our audience to know about St. John's Pride and the upcoming Pride Festival, what would it be?
It's one of the greatest times on the city's calendar, I think. Like, we put a lot of effort into that, and to see what it is and to go in and take it out and to see what all the different community organizations are doing is really something that happens once a year. So please come out and take it in. A lot of the events are free or very low cost to get into, and it's a great opportunity to see the community come together.
Eddie, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming to talk with me.
Thanks so much, Larabelle. I really appreciated this.
And we'll be right back, everyone.
Your opinion matters, and we want to hear from you. Get in touch with us using our viewer feedback line, your direct connection to shaping the shows you love. It's easy. Just grab your phone, scan the QR code on your screen, and take our quick survey. Share your thoughts, and let's make your viewing experience even better.
You're watching Rogers TV St. John's.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm now joined by the one and only Julie Vogt, who is the board president for the NL Folk Arts Society. Julie, thank you for joining me.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Laura Bell.
It's spring, which means it's almost summer, which means it's almost folk festival time.
It's getting closer every day.
Okay, so for our viewers who might be unfamiliar with the NL Folk Festival, what is that?
It is an iconic event here in Newfoundland and Labrador. It's been going on 49 years. It's one of the oldest folk festivals in the world, never mind just the country. And it highlights Newfoundland and Labrador folk music, but also brings in folk music from all over, because Newfoundland and Labrador is no longer just the Irish and the Scottish and the English. We have so many wonderful cultures to highlight. And we do. It's folk music of any stripe is going to be on that stage.
All right, okay. So we got to get some key things out before we get into all the fun and dandy of this conversation. dates.
The dates are July 11th through the 13th in Bannerman Park,
Okay.
which is right off Military Road up there in downtown St. John's.
All right, and where do we get tickets?
nlfolk.com will take you right to the tickets.
Okay, see, had to get all the important key details out. Now,
Yep.
how fun.
Folk fun. I
Folk
love that.
fun. Okay, why is this one of the pivotal parts of the summer? This is one of the key events that occurs in our city this summer. Why are you involved in it?
I started on the board back in 2021, and then through the jigs and the reels, I retired last year as executive director. And the Folk Art Society has run into some financial difficulties this year. It's not an easy environment to be in with all of the wonderful competition that's through the city. And I mean, let's face it, we're a province of 500,000 people, and we don't have unlimited funds to spend on entertainment. So people are choosing other things now. So we ran up against it last year. It was a great festival. We had Emmylou Harris and Steve Earle. We had William Prince was here, plus all of the fabulous Newfoundland acts that were on the stage. And we did much better than we usually do. But things are getting more expensive. I was actually gobsmacked at how expensive the infrastructure was last year. So that's why it's important. It's been going on 49 times now, and we've got to make it to the 50th. We can't have a 50th without the 49th.
It's true.
So they gave me a ringy-dingy and said, "Can you come back?"
Please.
I said, I will come back, and I'm volunteering to try and get that folk festival up on the stage so that we can carry on with the good work that we do.
Well, one of the important parts of getting it off the stage, up on the stage, is who will be on that stage. So the lineup is spectacular.
Thank you.
Like,
Thank you, Mary Beth Waldron, our artistic director.
Okay, so who are some of the favorites that you're looking to see?
I always love Sandy Morris and Anita Best. That's one act. Usually, when you're doing this, you're behind stage and you're so busy. But that act is one that I come out for and sit down and watch, because the genius that are those two people should not be missed. I'm looking forward to Tanika Charles. I can't wait to see her. She's from Ontario. She's going to be great. Matt Anderson. I love Matt Anderson. He makes me melt with some of the songs. He says, "Where's Julie?" "Oh, she's the puddle that's in front of the stage." I can't wait to see Polki. They are a group of Polish folk artists. And we had a mosh pit last year, and I think we're going to have another one with the dancing.
My elbow's ready.
And Serena Ryder.
Oh my gosh.
And the Irish Descendants. I can't wait to see Matthew Byrne up there, because he's got a new album out. I can't wait to see Len O'Neill with his new album that has come out.
So if people haven't already bought their ticket, folks, it's time.
It is time.
It's time.
It is way past time.
Okay. But the Folk Festival is not just the concerts that take place in the evening.
No.
It is basically almost 2.5 days of pure magic.
Yes, it is, Laura Bell.
So what can people expect in the daytime? Because people might be thinking, I have kids. Is this a kid-friendly thing?
The whole festival is kid-friendly, but during the day we do what are called our small tents. So around the periphery of the park, we will have tents with things going on, and you can choose of all of those things which one speaks to you, and you can attend that one. And we have a family tent for the kids where we're going to do some kids music, face painting. We have a francophone tent. They always do a good job with the kids. And that goes from 10 to 1. Then at 1 o'clock our main stage opens, and you can still talk to the people in the other tents, but the main stage is going to open. And we have acts all afternoon until 4 o'clock.
Oh my goodness.
And the price for an adult for all of that entertainment is $25. And for that, you can bring 2 kids up to the age of 19 for free. So anybody 18 and under during the day is free. Everyone must be accompanied by an adult, because as of this taping, it looks like we will have the full park alcohol license again. So you'll be able to sip on a tasty bevy if you'd like, if that's your thing, with your kids right there. And we had 0 incidents last year.
And 0 this year.
And 0 this year, because that's who folkies are. We get it.
So I'm going to say $25, that's cheaper than a McDonald's grown-up meal and a Happy Meal.
Yep.
And so that you can Okay.
You can stay all day. We have food trucks. You can bring a picnic yourself
Oh my goodness.
in. If you do bring a beverage, we ask that it be sealed. It must be sealed.
Absolutely.
And, you know, you do you at the Folk Festival. You create your community at the Folk Festival.
Okay. So if people weren't already aware of this amazing event and aware of how accessible it is and how family friendly and all of that, if you were just thinking it's a concert in the evening for grown-ups to have a good time, which it is, you can spend the full weekend out there and then make it home Sunday night and then take a good nap and be ready to go the next day.
Oh yeah, people buy weekend tickets.
Okay.
And they are, my husband's one of them. You see him walking through the park with his little chair, choosing which
His spot for the
tent.
weekend.
Yeah, and you just see him and he's heaving it out of him because he's learning to sing. You know, whatever it is he's doing. But we have people who've been attending this folk festival for like 50 years.
Yeah.
And they have people that they only see at the folk festival, and they form little groups.
Yeah.
And you bring your cousins and your sister and your best friend and their kids, and you sit and have a picnic or whatever you're going to do, get some Ziggy Feel-Good fries, whatever.
Okay, like,
And you watch and you have fun and you go, wow, the talent in this city is amazing.
okay. What is your favorite folk festival memory as someone who's worked and then someone who's now on the board and then someone who's just attended? There has to be one that sticks out for you as like, this is it.
You know, I love the small tents. Last year, we had free admission thanks to a grant from Celebrate NL. People loved it. My God, they were just loving it. We've never had such great attendance at the park. But for me personally, the biggest thing we did was last year, we brought in Emmylou Harris and Steve Earle on one night. And there was never more people in the park than there were that night. And for me, the magic moment is we were all so tired. And we held hands backstage as Emmylou was singing Sonny's Dream.
Oh, wow.
There was not a dry eye
Okay.
behind that stage.
Just trying to make me cry now, are you?
I know.
Okay.
Just that beautiful Emmylou voice. Sonny lives on a farm.
We can clear the stage. We can get you the mic. You can have your own
And she
house.
paid tribute to Ron Hines at the same time. He's our guy.
Yeah.
And it was magic. But there's been so many magic moments. That's my memory, but you canvass St. John's and you're going to get 1,000 memories that are special from that folk festival.
So if there are people listening and watching right now who have never been and don't quite know if this is where they're going to find their space, but we both know it is, what do you want them to know about why, if this is their first, it won't be their last?
Right. People come back.
Yeah.
I have never heard of anyone walking away from the folk festival going, "Oh, that was awful." It just does.
Those words don't go together.
Those words don't go together. And when you see, you know, the best that Newfoundland has to offer, that's who we are. Our ancestors who were here, you know, they sat in the kitchen and the toes are tapping, and you know, Nan's sitting in the chair doing her knitting because they all worked because that's what they did. And, you know, Grandpa got out his board, slapped it down, and started step dancing to his son playing the fiddle. That's what Newfoundland is about. Family, community, and place. That's what the folk festival is. It's about who we are as Newfoundlanders, whether you're come from away or here by choice. We have people come from all over the world. We've had a donation campaign with donations from far away as Switzerland.
Wow.
I know. And people going, "Oh, I attended your folk festival 8 years ago. It was such a great, here, I hope this helps." Because no one wants to see it go away.
No.
We just did a fundraiser at Kitty Vitty, $11,400
Wow.
in one day.
Wow.
People who came down, had a beer, paid the cover charge, listened to our great bands, including the Salt Beef Junkies, who
Okay.
are our kids.
Yeah.
They grew up in our young folk program. It doesn't get any better, and that's why I'm here. I'm not here for the concerts at night.
No,
I'm
the
not here for that.
community.
I'm here for the experience, the culture, and to keep our young folk program going. That's what matters in this province. It's who we are and who we'll always be.
Okay, so I got you for one more minute. Let's recap the really important things.
'Kay.
Dates.
July 11th, 12th, and 13th.
Okay, where do we get our tickets?
NLfolk.com.
And if you want to donate to keep programs like NL Folk Fest alive, where can we do so?
NLfolk.com, there's a little donate button. We are a registered charity, so you will get an immediate tax receipt from Canada Helps, and every little bit helps. We had a kid donate $5 a month.
Okay.
I know.
All right, so I need to up my game. Oh, good.
$5 a month, but that's $60 a year.
It is.
That's, that would help so much.
Absolutely.
If we had, 1,000 people do that.
We're on our way.
That's a cup of coffee.
It is.
For a coffee for culture.
I think we got our new slogan. We got this. Julie, we could be here all day.
We could be.
And I wouldn't be mad.
And I'll see you at the Folk Festival.
You know I have to be there now. There's no options. I want to thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Laura Bell.
All right, folks, we'll be right back. Use this time to go get your tickets for the Folk Fest. This is your opportunity. I'll catch you soon. I want to thank all of you for tuning in yet again. I want to give a very special thank you to my guest, Eddie St. Kerr with St. John's Pride and Julie Vogt with the NL Folk Arts Festival. If you haven't gotten your tickets for the Folk Fest, make sure to get them soon. You don't want to miss out. And make sure to mark your calendars for all the festivals coming up this summer. Can't wait to see you all soon.
This program is brought to you by Rogers Xfinity, connecting you to more of what you love. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
We want to hear from you. Provide feedback on this show or find out how you can get involved. Call, email us, or scan the QR code to take our quick survey.
Summer days, summer nights, lots of things to do, places to go, and people to see. If you're having a few drinks, be sure to plan ahead and get home safely. We don't want to pick you up. Drinking drivers risk injuries to themselves and others and take chances with their license, their jobs, and their future. Remember what's at stake and choose your ride, whether you're the driver, the passenger, or the party host. Thanks for supporting sober driving. I hope we never meet.
Visit arrivealive.org to find out more.
I am Gagwege. My name means everything.
Tom Longboats.
I am Wolf Clan, Onondaga Nation. I've run many different races. I've run to survive and to be free. I've run to win for honor.
His people might be lazy, but this one's damn fast.
My people respected our runners, people who carried important messages from village to village.
I need a guide to the next post. Dispatch carrier, sir. I can get you there.
God's sakes, man, slow down. Who do you think I am, Tom Longboat?
No, sir. I am.
Running makes me feel alive. It's everything.
Tom Longboat was the first Indigenous person to win the Boston Marathon. He ran his way to international fame and became an inspiration to generations of athletes.
Trust me, you are not going to want to miss this. Welcome to the little shop of spring magic, where anything is possible.
It's magical.